Thanks for watching 12 News. I'm Jordan James. We start with taking a look outside. What started off as a picture-perfect day has turned into a soggy evening for some. Christiana Ramos is in our Storm Tracker Center right now. What can folks expect for the rest of the week?
Yeah, Jordan, well, it's like I said earlier, those last couple of hours that we've been seeing that rain, all the showers are already tracked off towards our west, towards Houston right now with that cluster of thunderstorms. But it looks like we did get some storms in the forecast, but we haven't seen a lot of rainfall accumulate, probably about half an inch of rainfall to an inch in some areas up towards the lakes area. But as we head into tomorrow, it looks like mostly sunny skies, 85 for that high. And we are going to be waking up to cooler temperatures in the middle to lower 60s, and that gorgeous weather will continue into Monday, and then more soggy weather for the next 7 days, which we will talk about in your extended forecast. For temperatures tonight, looks like 65 degrees in Mid-County, 87 for tomorrow's high, 62 for Silsbee, 84 for tomorrow's high, and 62 degrees. Once again, cooler temperatures up towards the lakes area, Evadale, and 84 degrees for that high tomorrow. We'll have more on your Storm Tracker forecast later on.
A man is dead and a woman is hospitalized after a plane crash at Pearland Airport, which is located near the Houston area. This happened this afternoon just before 3 o'clock. Texas DPS tells our sister station that a single engine plane was coming in from Alvin and landed on the runway. Things appear to be okay, but at some point there may have been a landing gear malfunction, resulting in the plane going into a ditch. NTSB investigators will be there tomorrow to see what happened. Multiple rescue crews responded to Six Flags Fiesta located in San Antonio after 20 people were stuck on a roller coaster. This happened just before noon. The guests were stuck for a few hours until crews were able to remove them. There were no reports of any injuries. Six Flags officials say the ride will remain closed until a full inspection is complete. Americans are traveling this holiday weekend at levels that have not been seen since the beginning of the pandemic. As more and more people get vaccinated, cases are also declining. President Biden is pressing for the origin of the coronavirus. Here's ABC's Ty Hernandez with the details.
With more than 50% of Americans in the U.S. now vaccinated, life is slowly returning to normal. The daily number of COVID cases plunging nearly 70% in the past 6 weeks. Americans are traveling for this Memorial Day holiday in numbers not seen since before the pandemic.
It brings a sense of freedom and just to get out again.
Across the U.S., more than 37 million people on the move, up 60% from last year. On Friday alone, TSA checkpoints screening nearly 2 million people, breaking the single-day record for travelers in more than a year. But across parts of the Northeast, businesses hoping to kick off the summer season have been hit with cold, wet weather.
It is absolutely disappointing.
Vaccines continue to be a key part of moving past the virus. Younger Americans are helping increase vaccination rates. More than 2.7 million 12 to 15-year-olds have received their first shot, making up about 10% of vaccinations over the last 2 weeks.
We get to herd immunity. The quicker this whole pandemic and the lockdowns will be over.
Meanwhile, new details about what led up to President Biden's request that his intelligence community further investigate the origins of COVID-19. ABC News learning that after assessing the data already collected, it became clear to Biden and his top officials that a large amount of information had yet to be fully analyzed. Ty Hernandez, ABC News, New York.
At the same time, a gunman was killing 9 of his co-workers at Valley Transportation Yard in San Jose. Earlier this week, the gunman's home was also on fire, and investigators now know why. At the shooter's home, they found multiple cans of gasoline, suspected Molotov cocktails, a dozen firearms, and about 25,000 rounds of various types of ammunition, and some of it was left on the stove cooking.
A pot was placed on the stove in the kitchen of the residence. Investigators have determined that there was ammunition in that pot, and as well as accelerants around the pot. So currently we believe that that pot overheated, causing that ammunition to discharge.
Investigators are still looking for a motive, but they say the shooter was a highly disgruntled VTA employee for many years. An overturned 18-wheeler caused major traffic delays across Beaumont this evening. This happened on I-10 East near Magnolia. Parts of the truck was hanging over the median into some of the westbound lanes. As a result of the impact, several watermelons filled the interstate. There were no reports of any injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. House lawmakers passed House Bill 1925 yesterday. It bans people from camping in public places across the state unless it's authorized. The governor has said that he would sign this bill into law. Lawmakers have made changes to the bill that will require cities to get permission from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs if they want to use public parks as designated homeless encampments. The bill that addressed how teachers can talk about current events and American history of racism was tabled Friday due to a technicality. After debating for about the amended language, House Democrats were able to stop the bill from heading to the governor's desk. Educator advocates say they are pleased that the bill was put off, but they aren't celebrating yet. Texas could have some of the strictest voting regulations in the nation. Lawmakers today unveiled a bill which would make it tougher to cast ballots and easier to overturn elections. Kelly O'Donnell has the details.
A new message from President Biden for the Texas legislature, weighing broader voting restrictions today. It's wrong and un-American, writes the president. It's part of an assault on our democracy. Today in Austin, Texas Republicans moved a step closer to tightening election rules, including a ban on unsolicited ballot applications and lowering the legal standard for overturning an election outcome.
Is there objection? Hearing none, the chair hears none.
This push in Texas follows Georgia and Florida, as some Republicans align themselves with Donald Trump's false claims that lax voting rules cost him re-election. Trump's influence also reached Washington this week as Republican senators blocked an independent commission on January 6th.
They're afraid of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a bane to our democracy.
Unraveling the facts about the assault on the Capitol will have to take a new direction that will rely more on the work of congressional committees.
Fortunately, we do have subpoena power. We will be able to get at the truth of what happened on January 6th.
Defending his opposition to a separate commission, Republican leader Mitch McConnell says law enforcement is already on the case. Justice Department officials say about 440 arrests have been made, with more expected.
Hundreds have been charged. Even more arrests are said to be planned, and the Attorney General indicates this investigation will remain a top focus.
Hundreds rallied on the south steps of the Texas Capitol before marching to the governor's mansion today. They protested the Texas Heartbeat Act, which bans abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected. That typically is a 6-week procedure, and before most women know that they are pregnant. The measure does not make an exception for survivors of rape or incest who become pregnant as a result of the crime against them.